Mornings with Mike here on 8:30 a.m. WEEU, the voice of Berks and Beyond. The 8th annual Reading Blues Fest just around the corner, and we are pleased to welcome with us here on the show today Bev Conklin and Joe Mack, her guitarist, hanging out with us here on the show. You'll be able to see them on Wednesday, November 19th at 6 o'clock at the Reading Liederkranz. It's the NOLA Blue Showcase featuring women in blues, and it's the Alexis P Suter Band and the BC Combo featuring Bev Conklin, and Bev is with us here today. Bev, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us here on this here on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Now, before we get into anything specifically about you, you have a great story, and I think we should lead off with it because this isn't your first time at the Reading Blues Fest.
No, it's our first time at the Reading Liederkranz, though, and I heard they just got an award for something, number 2.
Yeah, they're always one of the best Oktoberfests in the country. They had taken, I think, the top spot a few times, and this year they were number 2 in that. You just missed out on that party, but I know you guys are going to have your own party. That's
nothing to sneeze at.
No.
That's their number 1 and 2 and 3, whoever, congrats, you know, that's awesome. That's like the Bethlehem Hotel just got like number 1 year over year, so it's kind of cool. Our region of the United States is right here, you know, between the Lehigh Valley and Berks. It's great. So you had to bring that up. It's funny because three years ago, we were invited to play in the bar for the Reading Blues Festival, and it was new to us. We'd never been. We always played at the Berks Jazz at Judy's on Cherry. So we were like so excited. And it just so happened that we formed this group called BC Blue. It's an all blues and nothing but the blues. And it features Chicago Carl Snyder on keys. Chicago Carl was about 79 years old back then. And he toured with all the Chicago A-listers. He was like the band leader for Sun Seals and so many. So here we are, pulling in up to the hotel. We found it, tried to figure out how to get into it, and next thing I know, the doors open and all our stuff is being taken out. You know, our suitcases, our gears, like, where are you going? Where are you going with it? And I'm not even out of the car. And I'm not even registered or
do we give a name or anything?
Nothing.
Yep.
Do we leave our car here? What are we doing? So they wanted to set us up. Evidently, they knew who we were. So talk about an organized crew. Let me tell you.
John Ernesto's got those guys running on all their cylinders, yeah.
So I didn't know where they were, and I ran all the way back to the stage. I'm like, where's my stuff? And I'm going back. And the one guy is back there. He says, you can't be back here. He's his number 1 guy. I don't remember his name, but he's your number 1 volunteer that runs the show back the main stage. I said, I'm going to be back here. I want to know where my stuff was. They took everything but my purse, I think. I'm like, oh, my gosh. So then I finally found John. I said, John. And then he walks me all the way to the front of the hotel. He goes, you're over here. And there's all our stuff sitting right there on the floor, you know, waiting for us, all nice and stacked. And our gear, we were all set up to do a sound check. And and so then on the way in, our drummer calls and he says, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to the ER. I have appendicitis, I think.
So you had to go without a drummer.
Yeah, so the whole thing was chaotic, the whole experience. And then we don't have a drummer. We start playing. We literally weren't even checked in yet. We start playing, and John Ernesto comes and says, we need you to do an interview on TV right now. I'm literally singing a song. And he's shaking his head. So I just looked at the guys, and they don't even know. And I just left them without the drummer, you know? And like the drummer's playing with us, but we're playing, and then wherever his spots were, we just stopped. And people out there don't know why we stopped, but that's the drummer part. And now Bev's gonna leave. So it was quite the ordeal. I went out, I don't even know what I said. And then I came right back in, picked up where I was. And then after we were done, we were there for the whole weekend just to enjoy it. And I was good to go until Sunday. And a friend of ours named Jenny, she says, Michael Cloran wants you to do a panel discussion. I said, when? At 9 in the morning, Sunday. So this is like, the last day of the festival. Yeah. And then I go and I'm like doing this panel discussion and I'm sitting next to Sally Bankston. I'd never met her before. She says, I met BC and the Blues Crew when they used to play at the Firehouse in Reading. And my parents took us as kids, took us over there to have dinner and we'd see the band. And I just loved them. And shortly after that day, it wasn't even a week later, she signed me up on her label, MoMojo Records. So what a weekend.
All the chaos and then with that happy ending at the end.
It was a magnificent experience because everything's right there and it's contained in the hotel. Oh, last year we went. And we were sitting in the bar, the very bar. There were no bands last year in the bar. But all the bands that played would gather at the bar at the end of the night for those of us staying. And some of the people would disappear outside, if you get my drift, they'd disappear outside, go do their thing. And I'm in there talking to people and the table's over there and I'm just keeping my eye on things. And I look and my purse is gone. And I run out to the lobby and here's this guy in a wheelchair with my purse in his lap. And I'm telling you what, I walked up, thank God, the elevators at this hotel are very slow. I'm going, that's my purse, thank you.
It was a memorable weekend. It was. It's always exciting.
I'm afraid to go this year. I don't know what's going to happen this year, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Seriously, it's a well-run, well-organized, lean, mean running machine. And the music, geez, you have such a cross-section. What I was looking forward to last year, it blew my mind that there was so much more because I didn't know half the people there. I'd never seen them before. And I'm trying to think of the group from Chicago, the Three Sisters. They're on Alligator Records.
We have our guy John Ernesto here with us.
Yeah.
He's diving into the deep recesses of his mind.
They played in the ballroom, right?
And the lead singer's husband is on guitar.
And Avenue? Southern Avenue?
Southern Avenue. Oh my God. Wow. I think everyone in the room was just like mesmerized because we didn't think human beings could actually do what they did. And it was just amazing. So, and they're young, which gives us hope about, sustaining the culture.
Is that one of the things you look forward to most about coming to festivals like this, getting to meet new artists that you haven't gotten to meet or work with before?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have traveled I never knew I was going to sing. I didn't know I could sing. It was my best friend's brother. It was a favor. Could you come sing for our band? Because you're from New Orleans and you're black and you can do this. I'm like, do what? Do what? So literally, I'm an Army brat. When I was born, my dad joined the service. We were shipped to to Germany from New Orleans, and then all over the world. And then we ended up in Pennsylvania. I'm like, what is this? Where's the hot sauce?
So New Orleans to Germany and now Pennsylvania.
Oh,
and
my
you were up
gosh.
in the Lehigh Valley, correct?
We were in Washington State, Colorado. We've been all over. So, yeah, this is quite the culture shock. We'd never been on the East Coast. And, the food alone is so bland. So bland. But then I learned about the Pepperfest, and I got turned around because they were hotter than our Louisiana hot sausage. So I'm like, yep, got it.
So that got your attention.
Very good.
So when you were asked to sing for the first time, may I ask how old you were?
I was 31.
So you are very much, compared to a lot of people, late to the game.
Late to the game because I never thought I was going to be in this game. I grew up on classical music. Chopin, Beethoven, Moonlight Sonata is my #1 all-time favorite song. So how on earth? I'm Creole. I'm from New Orleans. I'm from a family that, give you an example, my aunt, Levita, she married William Thaddeus Coleman. He was the Secretary of Transportation under Ford.
Okay.
And now the building is named after him. So I'm saying at 31 years old, I'm going to sing for a blues band. You're what? You're what? Something about image must have been a conflicting thing that I didn't understand, but I was doing it. I'm 31, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm not letting any man, including my dad, tell me what to do anymore.
So what was that experience like when you first stepped on stage and now you're a blues singer?
It was frightening as ever. I never envisioned I'd be behind a microphone, yet alone singing. But my best friend's brother sat me down, and he had VH tapes, he had beta tapes, he had cassette tapes, he had videos. I didn't even know Lou Rawls had a blues festival. I had no idea. I didn't know who Stevie Ray Vaughan was. I had no idea who Coco Taylor was. I just immersed myself into the Blues Society. It was the Lehigh Valley Blues Network at the time. And over the course of 8 years, I ended up holding every role, every position, all the way up to the president. I ran the newsletter. There was the Skylands Blues Society. Michael Cloran had a Pocono Blues Festival. I went to it. I met the person who ran the San Francisco Blues Festival. I lived at Presidio. I didn't know there was such a thing. I knew about the Haight because my brother got in trouble for not attending 10th grade because he was at the Haight with Jimi Hendrix and, you know, what was going on at the end of the 60s, early 70s. But anyhow, I was at the San Francisco Blues Festival. I was just walking and a limousine stops and the door opens and she says, "Get in." It was somebody who sang right here at the Pocono Blues Festival, and then we had a Lehigh Valley Blues Festival. So just through different, putting your foot, you gotta remember, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have technology. Everything was face-to-face, phone calls. If I wanted to play at a certain venue, I had to go sit in with somebody and show my chops.
Yeah.
And for somebody who never did this in their life, that was the most
Intimidating
thing to do. But I forced myself to do it because I never knew what I wanted to do when I grew up.
Yeah. I'm still waiting too.
You know? Well, I found the blues, or I say, did the blues find me? I actually wrote a song about it. So it's like I found my calling in a way. It's like, you know, a priest has a calling, and I'm retired from my corporate job. I kept my corporate job. I kept my day job. I went to Penn State. I had my degrees. And thank God I did keep those things because I learned all about these musicians. The people in my band are former touring artists, backing artists of other familiar blues groups. And Joe Mack sitting here, he was with a group called Nature's Divine, and they had a one hit that made it. It was world. It was, I think in Europe, it was more popular than, yes, no, maybe.
It was popular on both continents.
Okay, so the one hit wonder. So these guys are touring musicians. Chicago Carl, Joe Mack, and my then keyboard player when I first started was Wayne Smith. I stepped into gold when I didn't know what I was doing. I stepped into a band of, they all knew. They go vamp. I go, I don't know what that means, you know, sort of. So I had to learn the hard way, on the job. And I think the angrier I got, because I hate when I don't know something, the more it just came out. And then I learned how to growl, you know, and it's like, okay, all right. And then we ended up doing a festival with Tanya Brown. Tanya Brown and I went to Penn State. I'm sure many people remember Queen Bee and the Blue Hornet Band. They were just getting their edge. They were starting to open with the Nighthawks, and they were about to be signed. It fell through, and she did pass, unfortunately, in her 30s, unnecessarily from not treating her diabetes. But we did a show with them and Coco Taylor. And I could go, we could be here all day with the stories. I'm telling you, because that was quite the trip too.
From the moment you stepped on that stage and you sang the blues for the first time, were you hooked? Did you know in that instance that this is what I'm going to do?
No. No.
How long did it take?
3 years. I wanted to quit. And if I quit, they don't play. Now that's the same formula to this day. If I don't sing, they don't play. Mm-hmm. So what I learned was it's in their veins, and that's what they want to do. But when we first did our first booking, we got in a car. Now, mind, I never did this before. We got in a car. I was in one of 3 cars, and we're driving. Now, I've never been through the backwoods of Pennsylvania. I think we were somewhere in Kunkeltown. And we're driving on this dirt road, turned onto this dirt road. And then there's guys hanging in the trees with rifles and tattoos saying white power. I'm like, I'm not getting out of this car. Where are you guys taking me? Seriously.
Yeah.
I was intimidated. Well, here I get to where the stage is. Oh, I went to high school with you guys. Hey, Bev. And I'm like, wow. Whoa, and here's a sister of one of my classmates. What are you doing here? It blew my mind. And then I had to sing. And it was my first experience. I was so intimidated.
Yeah.
And then they called the band back then the Soul Doctors. I'm like, this is not soul. This is not doctors. And so I fired the person who hired me, my best friend's brother. I renamed the band, and I brought in the guys that are still with me to this day. Wayne Smith, it's been 30 plus years. He and I are the 2 lasting from BC and the Blues Crew. Sadly, we lost our bass player at 45. He died the day I got back from my mom's funeral. Oh. My therapist says I should write a book.
You do have some stories, I'm sure.
You need the blues.
You need the blues.
You do.
As far as this show that's going to take place on Wednesday, the 19th at 6 p.m. up at the Liederkranz, your first time at the Reading Liederkranz, it's the NOLA Blue Showcase. What should people expect when they get their tickets and come on out to the Liederkranz on that evening?
You're in for a treat because Alexis P Suter's new album, Just Stay High, is up for a Grammy nomination. And I can't take it out of my CD player in my car. My car is old enough to have one. And I know every word to every song. I told her I'm going to be her backup singer with Vicki Bell. Vicki Bell, her backup singer, her partner in the band, wrote this song. So I think people are going to be just mesmerized by them. And we have a new album, MoMojo Records. So literally, we both put out new albums in this year. So it's exciting for both of us because we just played together recently at a bourbon and blues event at Grange Park in Macungie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It was long story short, it went very well. And then we got the call from John, hey, do you 2 want to do a Women in the Blues event at the Reading Liederkranz on November 19th? Well, yeah. So here we go. And I'm not expecting any surprises this year because it's at the Reading Liederkranz and not the hotel.
How much fun is it for you guys to get to put together a show like that? When you have John call you and you're like, hey, you guys want to come and be a part of this? You get to kind of build something from the ground up.
I think the most intriguing part, the most alluring, is that it's the Reading Blues Festival. And secondly, that we get to actually perform with Alexis P Suter Band. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, that it's Sally Bankston's baby. It's NOLA Blue Records and MoMojo Records with Deborah Clark, who runs that division. And putting all that together and just being asked to do this is quite an honor.
Obviously, you get to
thrilled.
perform all over the place. You get to do your own shows. Is it special to come to these festivals, though, and just kind of, is it almost like a reunion, almost like a get-together, along with meeting new people?
It is like a reunion, and it also, like I said earlier, it exposes you to new music that we've never seen, people we've never met. Every festival I go to for that very purpose. We go to a place a lot in Sellersville, because we're getting ready to go see Toronzo Cannon. We're going to see Ronnie Baker Brooks. He has his new album out. And I'm just thrilled that we get to see Duke Robillard. Duke Robillard's someone that we opened for back in the 90s. I haven't seen him in probably almost 30 years. So I'm going to ask him if he remembers us. I doubt he will, because, he tours all over the world. But it's worth asking, because his flight got delayed 3 times in that night, and we had to play 3 hours till he got there. That was for Godfrey Daniels.
There's always a story. And finally, this area, you're from this area. Is there more blues in this area than people necessarily think there is? We don't think of this as a blues hotbed.
There is a blues community that is solid. And we are an aging community, I'll give you that, but we raised our kids on the blues. And
so there's another generation coming.
It's already out there, because even last year at the festival, my mind is not working, but there's Chris Stone, Kingfish,
Kingfish.
and there's a young gentleman in New York. Oh man, this is bad. Solomon Hicks. See, thank you, Joe. I knew I brought you here for
Joe
a
Mack
reason.
is like your Google.
He is. This is my norm. I don't remember names very well.
I'm the same way. I just usually have a
It's
laptop next to me.
Terrible, yeah. And there's a gentleman who played last year at the festival, Mac McDonald, his group. And we actually played with them at an event with a group in Doylestown. Little Red Rooster has this blues festival. And that's where I met these kids. And there they were up on the main stage. I'm like, wow. So yes, there's hope that the blues is grooming the next generation. It's very exciting. And I've had people calling me asking, where can we play in the Lehigh Valley? Because I used to work for the Lehigh Valley Blues Network. And I still get all the mail and all the calls. And it's kind of nice, because it tells me the community's out there. And I run a festival. I hadn't run it for 5 years due to the pandemic and my older brother getting sick. We brought it back last year. It was sold out.
That's fantastic.
So there is a blues community, and I attributed a lot to it to the Bucks County Blues Society, the Skylands Blues Society, Central Pennsylvania Blues Society, and the Pocono Blues Festival, the Lehigh Valley Blues Festival. Now there's festivals all over the place. So I would say, even though it's not as centralized as it used to be, it's still out there at least across the region. And look at New York, they still have Terra Blues, and
It's a great scene. It's the Reading Blues Fest. Get your tickets at readingbluesfest.com. Come on out to the Reading Liederkranz on Wednesday, November 19th, 6 o'clock. See the Alexis P Suter Band and the VC Combo featuring Bev Conklin and the Google over there, Joe Mack.
So Joe Mack is sitting here with his guitar, and there's a person who influenced me right away. When I first moved here, I was going through a divorce, and my best friend brought me into the cafe at Cedar Crest College. And in there were 3 women, but by the name of Sapphire. And they were singing songs that were written by, this particular song was written by Rick Estrin. It's called I Ain't Lying. Two cool cats just sitting at the bar, telling each other how hip they are. Talking about millions they're spending in dimes, jacking their jaws and just wasting their time. I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. I ain't lying. 'Cause I've seen it 1,000 times. She was a shapely young dark-haired beauty. Two hips gonna spin around like how to do that. Each one is thinking that they want what she's got, 'cause she's getting better looking with her every shot. I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. I ain't lying. 'Cause I've seen it 1,000 times, yeah. Watch one sucker start to make his play. I hear him mumbling as she's walking away, trying to tell himself she wasn't really that fine, that he still could have copped if he just really made time. I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. I ain't lying. 'Cause I've seen it 1,000 times. Now look at here. You think I'm lying, but guess what? I don't care. 'Cause I'm a witness and I swear I was there. I've seen that next fool sit up in bed. Sometimes a man ain't nothing but a dog on two legs. I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. I ain't lying. 'Cause I've seen it 1,000 times. Yeah, you two cats been sitting here since we opened. We're gonna have to close. You know what they say, you don't have to go home, you just can't stay here. We'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. 3, 2, lights out.